Welcome back. This company looks solid from the outside, but we found a hole in their pocket the size of a crater. Today, we're talking about Illumina. For years, they've been the undisputed kings of DNA. But in 2025, they're learning a hard lesson. Innovation wins you the Nobel Prize, but geopolitics wins you the bank account. Let's see if the king can keep the crown. First, let's talk about the divorce. Illumina's acquisition of GRAIL was the financial equivalent of buying a Ferrari while your house was on fire. Now that the separation is final, 2025 is their first sober year. They've stopped the bleeding and are back to being a lean, mean sequencing machine. No more billion-dollar legal headaches, just pure business. Here's where it gets spicy. You can have the best tech in the world, but if your biggest growth market puts you on a do-not-call list, you're in trouble. China's unreliable entity list hit them like a ton of bricks. $65 million gone instantly. It's hard to sell a $200 genome when the door is locked from the inside. Science is global. Politics is local. This leads to the billion-dollar question: can Illumina's engineering speed outpace the friction of global trade? On one side, they have the world's most advanced sequencers. On the other, they have a price war and export bans. 2026 is the year we find out if their tech moat is deep enough to keep the sharks out. To understand why this company won't die, look at this pie chart. 74% of their money comes from consumables. In plain English, they don't care if you buy the printer. They want to sell you the ink forever. You can't run a lab without their chemicals. It's the ultimate razor and blade model, providing a steady stream of cash even when the world is ending. Last year, their bank account looked like a disaster movie, minus $1.2 billion. This year, plus $850 million. That's a V-shaped recovery that would make a gym rat jealous. By cleaning up the balance sheet and ditching the GRAIL baggage, the real Illumina is finally visible to investors. But wait, there's a crack in the armor. Instrument sales are down 4%. Why? Because the banks are stingy and lab budgets are frozen. When interest rates are high, scientists don't buy $1 million machines. They squeeze every last drop out of their old ones. This CapEx cooling is the ghost haunting Illumina's 2026 outlook. Illumina knows they can't just be the DNA guys anymore. That's why they bought SomaLogic. They're moving into multi-omics, reading proteins alongside DNA. They want to be the Windows OS of the entire human body. If DNA is the blueprint, proteins are the actual building. They want to own both. For the math nerds, their return on equity hit 31%. That's like turning every dollar of your own money into $1.30 in a year. How? Not by selling more, but by being leaner. Their asset turnover is steady, but their profit margins exploded after the GRAIL exit. It's a masterclass in, quote, addition by subtraction. The king is being challenged. Startups like ILMN and Ultima are fighting a price war in the trenches. Illumina's response? The NovaSec X. It's faster, cheaper, and greener. They aren't just defending the throne. They're trying to make the throne so high that nobody else can even see it. Let's put a face on that China risk. $65 million. That's enough to buy every person in New York a high-end steak dinner, and Illumina just lost it because of a regulatory pen stroke. Their China revenue dropped 21%. In business terms, that's not a dip, that's a free fall. Usually, when a tech company cuts R&D, you run for the hills. But Illumina is doing something clever. They cut R&D spend by 28% and still launched their most advanced small sequencer. They're moving from throwing money at everything to, quote, laser-focused engineering. It's a dangerous game, but so far, it's working. Looking ahead to 2026, the company is playing it safe. They're promising another $100 million in cost savings. It's strategic stealth. They're lowering expectations so they can hopefully crush them later. Watch the supply chain. If they can move manufacturing out of tariff zones, their margins will soar. The SWOT is clear. Strength. They own the market. Weakness. Instruments are stalling. Opportunity. Multi-omics. Threat. Geopolitical decoupling. It's a classic MBB case study. If you believe in the data is the new oil mantra, Illumina is the biggest refinery on the planet. The final verdict? Illumina is no longer a wild tech gamble. It's a high-yield tech utility. You're buying the toll booth for the future of medicine. The current price has a geopolitical discount. It's essentially a bet on whether science can eventually ignore borders. I'm betting on the science. That's the deep dive. For the full 100-page strategic audit, contact our senior desk at HDIN Research. We don't just read reports, We decode the future. Don't forget to subscribe for more institutional grade insights. See you in the next one.